how are you doing today? I hope your day is going great. Today I'm bringing you another one of my Aliexpress fake versus dupe kinds of hauls. I bought two of the exact same palette today. They look like they're probably going to be knockoffs, but it's always hard to tell with these because a lot of times the pictures are not 100% representative of the products that you receive. It's hard to tell with the language, and so this time I thought I would try two different stores' takes on the exact same palette because they have the exact same photos representing them. Now they do have a little bit of a price difference. The first one that came in the mail was $4.66, and the second one that came in the mail was $5.33. So not a big difference, but a slight difference, and I also had a difference in the shipping speed. The cheaper one actually came first because I spent an extra $1 on e-packet shipping because it looked like it would be over twice as fast to do it that way, and it actually ended up coming quicker than the one that I used the free shipping option on. So in the end I spent $6.24 on the cheaper, originally cheaper one so that it would come a lot faster. Sometimes that can be a good option, but I thought we would compare these today. Looking at the pictures and the wording in it, it looks like these are probably going to be fakes of the Makeup Geek Manny MUA collab palette. I've never actually owned that palette, but I thought that comparing two different fakes or dupes of it would be an interesting way to see what the different fakes are like, what the companies are like, and see what this palette could be like and have a good chance at getting some pretty good quality shadows. Now I'm going to open first the first one that came. They both came in the little plasticky, baggy type things that these usually come in from Aliexpress. Now this one is nicely bubble wrapped. I will leave links to the stores and the exact products that I purchased if they are still available below. Ooh, they've got it really well packaged. It's taped tight. I didn't get the tape off, but I tore it open. So there we have it. Manny MUA, and it's holographic. The packaging looks nice. It's got his picture. The packaging looks very nice. It says, this palette can be worn by anyone and everyone regardless of age or race. I wanted to make sure of that. I worked, typo there, I worked so hard on this palette and I couldn't be happier with the results. Manny MUA, and it has his signature. Makeup Geek has partnered with popular beauty vlogger Manny MUA to bring you a limited edition, period, 9-pan custom palette that include 3 of Manny's favorite existing Makeup Geek eyeshadows and 6 brand new exclusive shades. This thoughtfully curated collection contains everyday and ultra bold shades in matte, shimmery, and foiled -A selection. The dash is just in a weird place. A selection that's true to Manny's personality and preference for beautiful warm tones. Hashtag Makeup Geek X Manny MUA. And it's got the Makeup Geek website on it and stuff too. So it says, has the Makeup Geek on the front. Got the little mirror. And here is the palette. Now on the back it does have the shade names. And it's all this pink, shiny, distributed by Makeup Geek LLC, made in USA, Jackson, Michigan. Luna, Beaches and Cream, Artemis, Frappe, Sora, Cosmopolitan, Aphrodite, Mars, and Insomnia. They feel nice. They are swatching okay. I'm on the light shades so far, so nothing very super pigmented. That foiled shade is pretty, the pink. What are you called? Artemis. It's pretty. The tangerine kind of color. Frappe is pretty, but it is very orangey. This one, I think Sora, is like a matte kind of color, but it's almost a little bit chunky. Yeah, these mattes are a little bit chunky. Like they come off in little, I don't know that you can tell, but they come off in interesting little like chunks. They blend out fine though. They're blending out fine. All of these colors are very very subtle. Like on your finger they look like they're going to be really pigmented, and then they come off quite subtle. The green foil is pretty. Which one is that? Aphrodite. That's pretty. Not as striking, pigmented as it looks. Woo! It looks really pigmented here, but then swatched, it isn't as. It definitely is greenish though, so that's good. The red looks very red on the finger, but then once you swatch it out, it kind of looks like a hot pink kind of color. Okay, and then this last one is definitely coming off chunky as well. But it is coming out beautifully. So that is the first palette down. Like I said, the non-foil colors were fairly chunky. The foil colors, which normally metallics are the ones that are chunky, but these ones were not at all. They are not super pigmented, but they're pretty, interesting to work with. Alrighty, swatches and pictures for the first palette are taken, so let's move on to the second one and see how these two compare. Now, it looks like it is packaged pretty much identically to the first one. It's got the tape around it and everything. So I'm going to try and just tear this one so I'm not struggling with it as long. Now, it does have an extra little set of bubble wrap, more than the last one did. And the packaging is slightly dented, but they are the same size. They look the same. I don't see any differences in that. The top and bottom are the exact same. And all of the typos on the back are the exact same. Okay, now this palette looks slightly rougher. The Makeup Geek on the front, I don't know if you can see, the little symbol has a few little scratches in it. And the back has a little scratch and a little bit more dings on it. But everything else looks the same. All of the printing and all that looks the same, except for having more dings and scratches on the front shine. Now the inside looks pretty much the same. Looks pretty much the same. Let me open the other one and look directly at the two together. They look pretty much the same. Maybe the Luna on the second one looks a little bit more foily. It seems like the second one, the Luna, is definitely more pigmented. I'm getting the same little bit of chunkiness to the second shade, the Beaches and Cream, the same like chunkiness that I got on the mattes in the other one. But the foil feels similar, maybe a little bit chunkier. Definitely more pigmented on Artemis than on the first palette. Ooh, wow. Okay, so Frappe on the second palette is definitely more pigmented than it was on the first. Let's go for the last 5. I'm trying to make sure I do them all in the same order. Definitely getting the chunkiness a little bit on Sora again, but it does seem more pigmented than the first palette. Okay. Quite a bit of chunkiness on Cosmopolitan. Ooh. Aphrodite feels smoother in the second palette. And it's still like a silvery green, but seems a little more blendable. Now this red and this dark brick kind of color are going to be an interesting test of this. The red seems a very similar shade to the other one, but it's not quite as pink. It's a little bit more red, but the feeling of them is what I'm exploring right now. Then that last shade seems very similar, maybe a touch chalkier. But still, they seem fairly blendable. I do think the second palette is definitely significantly more pigmented. So give me just a moment to do swatch photos, and I will be right back and let you know what I think in the end. Alright, so in the end, comparing the two Manny MUA Makeup Geek palettes, I think that the first one had ever so slightly better packaging. It wasn't scuffed up like the second one was. The second one had dings in the outer packaging and scratches along the front, which may have been related to the dings on the front, which might have happened in shipping. So this one was ever so slightly better in that, but they had the exact same typos, the exact same mistakes and little oddities as each other. They were the exact same in that regard. The first palette was ever so slightly smoother, I think, on some of the mattes. It wasn't quite as chunky, but it also wasn't nearly as pigmented as the second one. So I will leave links to both sellers below and both exact listings that I purchased, as long as both are still available. If not, I'll still try and leave the listings because sometimes you can get to other similar ones if you are interested in them at all. I think these are interesting colors, and I will probably play with them and see how much I like them. I will probably pass off the first one to somebody else who would like slightly sheerer colors and play with the second one. Just give it as a little bit of a for fun, because I love you kind of gift to somebody, and see how they like it and see how they like the colors, and play with this one myself until I either finish off some pans or put it in a makeup graveyard. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And I appreciate all your time, and I appreciate all your love. Give me some comments below. Let me know your suggestions for what I should do with these palettes, what I should do with the colors, any really cool looks you would like me to do. I would love to hear your comments about your experience with Aliexpress, what you think of the makeup on there, what you would and what you wouldn't try. Thank you so much for all your time and love. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.